Okay, that's my segue. Next Saturday, we are having a seminar called Breaking the Chains of Debt. Okay, so I would like to introduce Mr. Rod Grant and his wife Lori. They are going to come up and share briefly what you can expect on Saturday next week, March 12th at 9 o'clock in the morning with free breakfast and free lunch if you choose to come to the debt seminar. And I'm going to turn it over to Rod. Woo! Comfort zone, comfort zone. Just yell nice and loud.
Hi everyone. Hey. Pastor Deanna, Pastor Bob, thank you. We appreciate the welcome being here. When I was growing up, I had this idea. Remember when you're a little kid and it's summertime, school's out, and you're running through the grass with your bare feet, and the only thing you got to worry about is your mom being mad because you got grass stains all over your knees, and you don't have a care in the world. And you got all these dreams about the way your life's going to turn out, right? I had them too. Well, my life didn't turn out that way. Because, you know, when we're young and we're innocent and all of our dreams are pure. But then what happens is we get older and we learn about this thing called the American dream, right? And the world starts defining for us how we're going to be happy. And to be happy, we got to have stuff. We got to have a car. We got to have the right clothes. We got to have the right friends. We got to look the right way. And if we don't, then we don't belong. And if we don't belong, we can't be happy. Isn't that the truth? Well, aren't you glad there's a place where we can come as we are, and there's someone who loves us just the way we are, and it doesn't matter if we have money or what we look like. And that's a God who doesn't care about the American dream. But the problem is we live in a world that does. And we're taught by the Word to live in the world but not be of the world. But you know, that can be hard to do. Because in this world it's all about money, right? And it's all about possessions and having things. And you know, I fell into that trap. And, you know, Lori and I had the money, we had the cars, we took the trips, we ate where we wanted to, we had the clothes. And guess what? We weren't happy. And I think if you ask anyone who's had money, if they're honest with you, they're going to tell you that it doesn't bring happiness. You know? Paul said, you know, I've had resources, I've lived with, and I've lived without. And I've learned to be content and have joy, whether I have or don't. And see, that's where God wants our hearts to be. And so, you'll hear more about this next Saturday. You'll hear some very powerful testimonials, but I can tell you that Lori and I had it all, and the bottom dropped out. Anyone ever been to Cedar Point? Yeah. All right. I don't know if they still have it. Remember they had that thing you'd get on and it would spin? It would spin and it would spin and you'd be like, you know, and all the other kids are spits flying and hitting you in the face. You know, and you know what's going to happen, right? The bottom's going to drop out and all of a sudden you hear the engine or the motor, and you look. It's like, oh, and there goes the floor. You ever feel that way with your finances? Like, bam, the floor just dropped out from under you? Well, that's what happened to us. You know, and a lot of it was our own doing because we were doing things we shouldn't have been doing. But a lot of it, too, was a trap that is set by the world. And what you're going to learn next Saturday is that, you know, all those commercials that you see on TV that are fun. I mean, I watch the Super Bowl as much for the commercials as I do the Super Bowl, quite frankly. They're funny and they make you laugh and they're cute and some of them make you cry. They're not innocent. They are designed to make you do things. And that is to part with your money and make unwise decisions. And we were told you can have it all. You deserve it, right? Indulge yourself. And I've done that in my life. There are some things I've done to indulge myself that I would be mortified if you knew about. But fortunately, God's already forgotten about it because I've been forgiven and redeemed. So next Saturday, we are going to learn how it is we're manipulated by the world and by advertising and by marketers who actually do scheme to get us to do things. Those commercials you see are innocent. We're going to talk about what the world's expectations of us are compared to what the Word said and what God's expectations are of us. We're going to talk about how the world says you have to be in order to be happy and compare it with what God says you should do to be happy. And let me tell you, there's much more joy, that's the only real joy there is in His happiness. We're going to talk about credit. There are things you need to know about credit that if you don't, can really hurt you. You need to know this stuff. And we're going to talk about interest, and it won't be boring, trust me. I know some of you are already zoning out because we're talking about credit and interest and stuff. There's some things you need to know about interest and how it compounds and how it can work against you. But most of all, we're going to talk about your heart. You know, God is very clear where our heart should be about money. And I love Pastor Deanna's message tonight about kindness. You know, I mean, so many times, Lori and I have said, man, I wish we could just write in the check. Someone standing in front of us in the grocery line, and you know, that this mom doesn't have money. And she's putting things back because she can't cover it all. And how many times we have said, why can't we just buy her groceries? It's because we can barely buy our own. But see, we don't have to stay there. We can be delivered from that. And we're going to show you step by step how to get out of debt, how to stay out of debt, things you can do to reduce your spending so that you can get there more quickly. And you can start living the life that God intended for you to have so you can just shower people with these random acts of kindness. Because that's what the kingdom is about. It's not about having things that are going to burn someday anyway. It's about what you do while you're here with what you do. So we hope to see you next Saturday.
Amen. All right.